We're not co-parenting right now. This ain't got nothing to do with co-parenting. Our kids ain't here. This is
definitely co-parenting.
This is not co-parenting.
This is definitely co-parenting. We both just talked to our kids.
We did, but this is not co-parenting. This is fucking coexisting. This is co-working.
We not even working right now.
We off the clock, but we still at work.
I'm not at work. I ain't doing shit.
I'm at fucking work because we can't leave and go nowhere. Because if we leave and go somewhere, we fired. So we're at work.
Oh yeah, we at work. You right. Nigga, you right.
I know. Shit. We
right.
on the clock. Okay, they got all the employees staying in the same place.
Have you ever seen a courtroom turn into an actual crime scene? When Bambi, yes, that Bambi, was handcuffed during the hearing, it was a BET Awards afterparty gone wrong. What led to the accusation of pregnancy fraud against her under oath on record? A leaked audio recording, her voice, said, "No, I haven't ever been pregnant, I just needed leverage." Scrappy had to make amends somehow. The judge dropped the gavel with such force that the microphone nearly died. Stevie Jay smiled and leaned back as though he had been waiting for this moment. Persistent, when the man collapsed in his chair, his face turning white and his hands trembling, the bailiff didn't hesitate. "Rise, walk around behind your back." In that moment, everything collapsed.
I think I'm developing like an allergy, for real, because I just ate some chicken and I ain't really feeling too great. You think black people can be allergic to chicken?
Hell no.
Drive in a Bambi is no longer in style. Her image has been ruined and her glam has disappeared due to a fashion trend. The Hall of Novashi could go to jail for perjury, fraud, and a fake pregnancy scheme. The public is now asking, how deep was the lie and what was she really trying to hide? Keep watching because this isn't even the most outrageous part. Only the surface was scratched by that tape. As they say, lying eventually catches up with you. But in Bambi's case, the lie did more than simply catch her. It followed her, confronted her in public, and handcuffed her wrists in front of everyone. It started with cameras outside, drama inside, and a man who had already lost everything twice pacing stoically, just like any other crazy court day. But nobody, not even Stevie Jay or the press, anticipated that the judge would announce a recess and then come back with a flash drive wrapped in chain of custody tape.
But your mama got two kids with different last names though. You and your brother ain't got the same daddy. Y'all got the same mama like me and my sister got the same mama. I don't understand that. don't like a person that live in a glass house shouldn't throw rocks, shouldn't throw stones, cause that shit is dumb.
Let's back up, because this moment was a result of several lies. It was a story, a deftly crafted delusion. Bambi clung to it like a lifeline, pulling everyone down with her. It wasn't just about pregnancy. It was about conflict, survival, and deceit in the family courtroom. When Bambi announced she was expecting Scrappy's child months ago, the courtroom underwent a transformation. They felt sorry for her. Scrappy was steamrolled, already struggling to prove he wasn't the villain. All of her charges, from financial neglect to emotional abuse, were given more weight because you don't cross a pregnant woman. But something is going on in the background. Scrappy's lawyers had been building suspicions behind closed doors. The dates of the ultrasounds were irregular and no OBGYN records were submitted prior to this, even followed her medical visits. None of them supported her testimony, but until yesterday, they lacked concrete proof. Now, for the voice memo, a chilling, time-stamped anonymous tip sent straight to Scrappy's lawyer's inbox. "I only need this judge to be on my side. I'm not actually pregnant, girl. I will be devastated when the check clears. Sob in the courtroom. Sympathy is assured because Boom Scrappy won't even know what hit him." Bambi's voice is definitely heard. The way she phrased it, the tone she used, and even the smugness with which she orchestrated the entire scam, it was all there. But this is where the crazy starts. In addition to being played in court, the audio was also shown on the courtroom monitors. M. Richardson, I want you to realize how serious what we're about to do is before I ask you to verify that this voice belongs to you, Judge Monroe said, pausing for impact before turning to Bambi. Not because she was innocent, but rather because she didn't have time to lie her way out. Bambi remained silent. Scrappy had a cold look on his face. It occurred after his hand snapped from clenching so tightly around the pen, the gavel dropped. This court decides that Ms. Richardson may be placed under arrest right away, pending the outcome of a hearing regarding fraud and perjury. Surprised distinct gasps, Stevie Jay turned around and whispered something into his assistant's ear while grinning. walk around, your hands behind your back. The result was a total breakdown for Bambi. Yelling, sobbing, and screaming that Stevie Jay was responsible for everything, that she was set up, and that this was a trap. But honey, no matter how many designer tears you shed, fraud is fraud, and the tape wasn't lying. Security dragged her out as chaos erupted in the courtroom. There were many cameras in the hallway. Telephones were flying high. One reporter shouted, "Is it true you faked the entire pregnancy?" Bambi remained silent. She was too busy loading onto a cruise ship and getting Scrappy. He didn't brag. He didn't give the clap back. He just sat there, heartbroken. Because despite not being the one in handcuffs, he was deceived on national television. This story is just getting started though, because the judge didn't mention it, and nobody knows the real reason why flash drive wasn't submitted carelessly. The information that Stevie Jay provided had the potential to completely upend the Love and Hip Hop franchise. Even though Stevie Jay wasn't supposed to be there that day, he was wearing a spotless suit, smiling smugly and standing far enough in the courtroom to be seen, but not yet held responsible. Once Bambi was in handcuffs, the room turned toward him as though he had planned the whole thing, because this is what really happened. The flash drive was not provided by Scrappy's team. It started with a private investigator that Stevie Jay had hired a few weeks earlier, not to protect Bambi or assist Scrappy, but to save himself. Stevie's name kept coming up too often for comfort. Bambi himself claims that Stevie Jay wanted to take back the statements he made in court testimony, text messages, and rumors about private hotel meetings that he would protect me if I kept quiet. However, Stevie made a crucial error. He thought bringing the voice memo to the court would make him look heroic, someone who comes forward with information, a man tidying up someone else's mess. But after Bambi pretended to be pregnant, people started to pay attention to what she said when the recording started playing. "I ain't worried about Stevie. He'll deny it as usual. He has even prepared his lawyer in case anything leaks. He said he would make it disappear." Boom, that was the second bombshell. Since Bambi had lied under oath and Stevie Jay had allegedly planned to hide the deception, there were now two liars in the courtroom rather than just one. Just when you thought the drama had reached its peak, Judge Monroe ordered the flash drive to be played again. This time, the entire uncut file in just 5 more minutes. They shattered what little credibility Stevie still had when another voice suddenly came on the tape. "I can't go through with this," a woman sobbing, "is neither Bambi nor Stevie. I was unaware that he would utilize my ultrasound." Then there was silence. Then the unique voice of Stevie murmured, "Nobody will be able to identify the fake. Just sign the paperwork. After this, I'll wire you 10 racks and a flight out of state." Think about that for a moment. Stevie Jay was accused of financing the cover-up, using, fabricating, and forging someone else's medical records, and Bambi was accused of lying about her pregnancy. Gasps echoed through the courtroom like bullets. Scrappy's mother, Mama D, had to be escorted out after she started yelling from the back row. My son had been manipulated by her. Stevie has also been talking in her ear. "Have I not told you everything?" I said it immediately. Security tried to reassure her, but the damage was already done. The official court file now contains the video. When the scandal broke in real time, the public ate it up like Sunday gossip at the beauty parlor. Outside, the courthouse was packed with fans and bloggers. Stevie Jay's pregnancy plot in season 1 only got worse was written on a sign held by one of the fans. Because while Bambi was being booked downtown, Scrappy's lawyer filed an urgent request to revoke all previous financial obligations granted under false testimony. This suggests that a damages lawsuit could now be used to recover every dollar that the court had ordered Scrappy to pay, but Scrappy didn't seem to have prevailed. He looked hollow. This was intended to be a paternity hearing and a final chance to get clarification, not a front row seat to a live action scandal that was getting out of hand. And then the unexpected moment, VH1 executives came into the building. It's accurate. They weren't there for the drama. The reason they were there was to obtain legal recognition because, wait a minute, it might be deemed network fraud if it turns out that the producers knew it was a hoax but still filmed scenes based on Bambi's fake pregnancy for financial gain. One executive was overheard whispering, "Pull the season from streaming platforms immediately," but it was too late. On TikTok, videos of Bambi sobbing and rubbing her stomach while interviewing Scrappy were already trending with a caption, "Fake baby, genuine deception and treachery deserving of an Emmy." When things couldn't get any stranger, Bambi's attorney tried to say that the voice memo was deepfake. Yes, it was deepfaked. As he stood there sweating through his shirt, he stated, "There is growing concern about the rise of AI and audio manipulation. We believe this recording may have been made or altered using advanced voice cloning technology." It didn't amuse the judge. He advised, "Save the TikTok theories for social media unless you're ready to call an expert witness to support that assertion." Boom, denied. Furthermore, the case just formally became a criminal fraud investigation. Where is Stevie Jay now? Backstage, dodging photographers and refusing to answer questions. His lawyer, however, is preparing to make a defense that claims Stevie acted under duress and was swayed by Bambi's emotional state, according to those close to him. One insider claims that he is already putting her under the bus. According to her, he tried to leave but got caught in the act. Classic deflection. And she was obsessed with feigning pregnancy to gain attention. Now, traditional Stevie fans are divided. Half of Twitter is accusing Stevie of being the brains behind a sick lie, even though the other half accuses Bambi of using womanhood as a weapon to ruin a man's life. Everyone agrees on one thing. We haven't even reached the final twist yet, as the judge was just presented with a sealed document known as Exhibit G, which indicates that someone is going to jail. A stewardess claimed that it contains surveillance footage shot within Stevie Jay's penthouse in Miami the week before the ultrasound image was taken. And guess who's on camera? It was not Scrappy or Bambi, but a different woman, clearly pregnant, crying into her hands. When the judge opens the tape, which he hasn't done yet, everything could fall apart. Every dollar, every episode, every lie. And this scandal wasn't as bad as you thought it was. The courtroom exploded again. Just as the defense was beginning to gather itself, the prosecution's lead investigator stood up and said 6 words that fundamentally altered the course of events. "This is the original phone recording," audible gasps. The stenographer also blinked twice. As a courtroom technician wheeled in a laptop and plugged it into the state-provided drive, Bambi's voice was clear, confident, and cold. "I told him I was expecting because he was threatening to interrupt me. I needed time and money, and I knew that Scrappy would fold at the mention of the word baby. As if that weren't enough, the next file caused the whole room to freeze. Are you going to continue this indefinitely?" A second voice, allegedly that of Bambi's friend, whispered. "They won't," Bambi responds when they ask for proof. "They never do. You know Scrappy too. He is weak." He wants to be needed. This baby lie is my insurance. In fact, the judge took off his glasses. The bailiff's gaze was fixed on the ground. Stevie Jay smiled like the bad guy at the end of a soap opera person. That man's face was no longer even angry. He seemed deceitful and hollow on a level that transcended lies, the courtroom, and reality TV. The judge then went on to speak again, how there was so much deceit in the sworn testimony. This court will now consider formal charges of fraud, defamation, and obstruction of justice. The defendant is hereby placed under remand in custody until the perjury charges are fully investigated. Bambi's attorney, she was in emotional pain. She felt alone. The judge didn't want to lose her family, but she didn't want to express sympathy. "You mocked this court. You weaponized motherhood," he said. "You attempted to influence court rulings in order to maintain control over someone else's finances, reputation, and sanity. That is not only unethical, it is illegal." Boom, another gavel slam. Reporters hurried outside to update the headlines in real time. TMZ completely omitted the closing remarks. Blogs, gossip channels, and live streamers, everyone had the headline within seconds. Bambi was arrested after the pregnancy hoax was exposed in court. Oh, let's talk about the knock-on effects. First, according to reports, Scrappy has requested full custody of their actual child, not the one they are feigning. Second, Mona Scott Young, the brains behind Love and Hip Hop, reportedly cut Bambi out of all pending storylines. Why? Because the network cannot afford to have another PR catastrophe caused by false medical claims, especially one that might have legal ramifications. Third, Stevie Jay's team shared an enigmatic Instagram story right after the hearing. It said, "Avoid playing with legends, especially if you are not pregnant." They went crazy. Memes spread widely, with reaction videos receiving hundreds of thousands of views in a few hours. Everyone had an opinion, from podcast hosts to high school Twitter trolls. Did Bambi ruin her own career because of a lie? In fact, the court caught her trying to baby trap Scrappy. Bambi claimed a tax deduction by pretending to be pregnant. Then came the bigger shock. Video from a courtroom was leaked, yes, the exact moment she was arrested. "I didn't mean for it to go this far, I just wanted him to stay," she sobbed, in her attempt to explain that the officer was holding her arm tenderly was unsuccessful, not to mention the repercussions for other people. In a since-deleted tweet, Scrappy's ex-girlfriend Erica Dixon is alleged to have said, "Karma knows addresses." All of them. Even Rashida DeFrost was unable to keep quiet. "Some people forget this isn't reality TV, it's reality court," she said as she sipped a casual cup of tea during her boutique live stream. Boom, bars. Fans started looking at past episodes for clues, noting Bambi's body language when she sobbed, clutched her stomach, or whispered about seeing a doctor. 2 episodes were compared side by side and posted online. In one, she's rubbing her stomach. Another, taken the same week, depicts her dancing at a party while sipping cocktails. The math didn't add up. So a petition to permanently ban cast members who make up pregnancy stories to get attention and sympathy is currently circulating online. Over 50,000 signatures and counting. But let's go back to Scrappy, because despite all of that, the lies, the humiliation, the emotional destruction, that man left court without a word. No tweets, no press releases, no yelling, a folded piece of paper in his hand, his mother, and himself. Some claimed it was the transcript of Bambi's taped confession. Some say it was the custody paperwork. One blogger claimed that it was a letter that Scrappy wrote to his daughter detailing all of the events that took place. We may never know, but we are aware that this was more than a simple scandal. It wasn't just clickbait. Because of a nuclear explosion of televised dysfunction and trust manipulation, the fourth wall was breached and the case ended up in a court of law. And Bambi went from being an influencer to an inmate in less than a month. Think about that. We discover another tape just when you thought things couldn't get any stranger. It claims to connect Bambi's entire scheme to a producer who encouraged the fabrication for dramatic effect. If that tape is discovered, Mona Scott's empire might follow. There is still more to come out of this fake pregnancy scandal, so buckle up. In fact, it may have just begun. After all the tears, the tapes, and the chaos in the courtroom, what happens next? Is Bambi's reign of reality coming to an end? Or is this just an act that is a part of a bigger, darker story that is about to blow up? Because, let's be honest, nobody saw this coming. One minute, she's on Instagram sipping green juice. The next, she's handcuffed in court for a fake pregnancy. Let it marinate, then scrub it. Not only did that man lose his trust, he lost his entire peace. Mona Scott, sis, you had better call him back up if that second tape is real, and we mean real, because her whole love and hip-hop empire could fall apart faster than Bambi's reputation. But now we look to you. Do you think Bambi planned this out in advance? Was it a desperate attempt to attract attention, acquire control, or further a plot? Or was she just another act in Mona's twisted circus, forced to continue until the end? This is the more crucial question. Should networks be held accountable for broadcasting fictitious pregnancies when millions of viewers believe them to be real? Post your wildest theory in the comments section. Was it an act, or did someone else pull the strings? Click like if you think karma came quickly to Hev. Please share this video if you're still processing what happened. Additionally, don't forget to subscribe because, darling, imagine how the season will end if it starts this way. Takedowns, outbursts, and tapes are all on the horizon, and I can assure you that you won't want to miss what comes next.